In March 1898, the British Empire's expansion into East Africa met a sudden, terrifying obstacle. Laborers were disappearing from their tents, dragged into the high grass under the cover of a moonless sky. The Uganda Railway was a massive logistical effort meant to stretch from the port of Mombasa deep into the continent's interior. About 130 miles inland, the engineers faced a major geographic hurdle. They needed to construct a massive steel bridge to span the Tsavo River valley. Building it required the manual labor of several thousand Indian and African workers. They lived on site in sprawling, open encampments scattered across the harsh landscape. The logistical might of a global empire had reached a stalemate. Predators in the brush proved more disruptive than any political resistance. The threat came from a pair of exceptionally large, maneless male lions. They began stalking the perimeter of the camps, slipping into the darkness to seize victims. The workers tried to protect themselves by building bomas, thick fences made of sharp thorn bushes, but the lions easily crawled through the thorns or leaped over them, pulling men straight out of their flimsy canvas tents. The man tasked with stopping this was Lieutenant Colonel John Henry Patterson, an Anglo-Irish military engineer dispatched to oversee the bridge's construction. Now he was forced to hunt the predators. Over the next 9 months, the attacks escalated into a near-daily occurrence. Hundreds of terrified laborers abandoned the project entirely, fleeing the site and halting construction for weeks. Trapped in the dark with an enemy they couldn't stop, the workers began to view the animals as legendary figures. To them, they were the ghost and the darkness, supernatural demons sent to punish them. After months of sailed box traps and long nights waiting in tree stands, Patterson finally shot and killed the first lion in early December 1898. Weeks later, he tracked down and killed the second. The workers returned, and the bridge was completed in early 1899. A few years later, Patterson capitalized on his fame and published a memoir of his ordeal in East Africa. In his accounts, Patterson made a specific claim that would define his legacy. He stated that the 2 lions had killed a staggering 135 people. That number cemented the Tsavo lions as the most bloodthirsty predators in recorded history. It was a narrative that sold books and inspired Hollywood films, going largely unquestioned for nearly a century. For 25 years, Patterson kept the skins of the 2 lions as floor rugs. Eventually, in 1924, he sold the pelts and skulls to a museum for $5,000. The remains were purchased by the Field Museum in Chicago, where the skins were restored through taxidermy and placed on permanent display alongside their skulls. They sat there for decades as museum curiosities. But in the early 21st century, scientists realized that these preserved pelts and bones were a pristine forensic crime scene. With advances in laboratory technology, researchers finally had the tools to put Patterson's 135 victim claim to a physical test. The method used is isotopic signature analysis. By extracting samples from the lion's bone collagen and hair keratin, scientists examine their chemical makeup. Isotopes leave a record in tissue, showing a distinct difference between a wildlife diet and a human diet. Plotting the Tsavo lions confirms they ate humans, but only roughly 35 people, a steep drop from the 135 claimed. Patterson inflated his numbers to sell a more sensational story. Yet 35 people eaten by 2 lions is still a profound tragedy, forcing us to ask why they targeted humans in the first place. The answer starts with an ecological disaster. In 1898, the Tsavo region was suffering through a severe 2-year drought, compounded by an outbreak of rinderpest, a cattle plague that devastated the lions' natural food supply. Starving, the lions likely turned to scavenging. The Tsavo River crossing was a historic route for the slave trade, where deceased captives were often left unburied, giving the local wildlife a taste for human flesh. When researchers examined the preserved skulls of the Tsavo lions, they found a clear physical explanation for this behavior: catastrophic dental disease. A severe root tip abscess in its canine tooth meant the animal was in intense pain. It could no longer handle the pressure required to bite into the thick hide and heavy bones of wild game. It was forced to hunt soft food, and the laborers in the sprawling camps were vulnerable targets. Stripped of the folklore, the Tsavo man-eaters were never supernatural demons. They were desperate, starving, and injured animals caught in a tragic collision between British imperial expansion and ecological collapse.